Hey guys, so I'm on my new main, Lara, and today I'm going to be talking about best in slot options for Lara regarding her nodes, passive hypers, stats, inner everything like that. And then I'm also going to go over mobbing a little bit. So, first off, she's a summoner class, if you don't know that already. It's all heavily reliant on summons, but that's only going to be for mobbing. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So, first things first would be hyper passives. You're going to want to do 10% damage on eruption and absorption. The IED is also a good option. I think either of those would be good. I went with the damage because my IED is about to be 93 without familiars. Boss damage on eruption and absorption. Boss damage on your main attacking skill, Essence Sprinkle. You're not going to want to do wake up cooldown just because it's already pretty short and you're not going to need it for mobbing and it's very weak in bossing. Mountain Seeds, you don't need this damage unless you're not one-shotting when mobbing because these are little summons that appear whenever you use a Dragon Vein. You can have up to 4 on a map at once. They run around, they do like a little bit of damage, but it's just not necessary for bossing. Dragon Vein Echo, whenever this is active, it's just like speed and jump, but then 3% HP every 5 seconds. It's not enough, in my opinion, to make it worthwhile. This is super important. Mountain Embrace. This basically does the equivalent of like a Angelic Buster Overshield whenever you're in Mountain's Embrace, and it just keeps giving you health. It's like 15% HP every 1 second. This skill will allow you to be able to eat like Lotus lasers and things like that. So that's the most important one. And then this one's really good too. This is you get super stance when you're using a Dragon Vein. Heavily recommend that. It's going to come in handy whenever you're trying to either set up for bossing or when you're in the middle of it. Besides that, for links, I have some training ones on right now, but you definitely need Mihails. And then besides that, you're going to want to do any sort of like bossing, like damage, IED. You might want crit rate on Phantom as well. I am hitting 100% crit rate with 6 points in, and I don't really have any on my Legion board, but that's my layout from it. Next thing we're going to go over is Hyperstats. You're going to do this pretty similarly to how you would do other classes. You want crit rate, crit damage, IED, damage, boss damage, and then I'm using a little bit of bonus XP right now while I'm training. Inner ability, your best in slot is passives +1 for top line. I have attack speed right now, but it's not necessary because one of the buffs gives us attack speed +1, and then also if you're running decent sharp or decent speed infusion, you should be capping, I think. So you're going to want a passive +1, and then on second line you're going to want boss damage 10%, obviously. And third line, you could probably do like cooldown skip or something if you want. It's not really too important. So as for nodes, in total, there's 8 skills that you can boost with boost nodes. The skills that you're going to want to do are Essence Sprinkle, Mountain Kid, Dragon Vein Eruption, and Dragon Vein Absorption. Those are the 4 that you're going to want to max out. And then if you're doing a 5th one as well, I would do Wake Up Call. Seeds don't do that much damage, and this is your bind, which is not important. And then this one is literally just the damage that you do when you teleport with your when you're teleporting to a trace. That one's really bad. You definitely do not want to boost that. So what I'm currently running is I have 2 Essence Sprinkles down, I have 2 Absorptions down, and I have 2 Eruptions. And then I have 2 Mountain Kids and 1 Wake Up Call. And I made another one, and this one has the second wake up call, then a Mountain Seed and a Dragon Vein Trace. This one's not going to get equipped until a much higher level, but I figured I would make another one just in case. Besides that, make sure that you're boosting, obviously, your 4 skills. From my bossing so far, I can say that Winding Mountain Ridge and Big Stretch do the most damage output when I'm bossing. Surging Essence is also very good though, and Lance Connection is obviously like your main burst. It's just on a 3-minute cooldown, unfortunately. Since I'm training, I'm using character building and a decent Holy Symbol right now, and decent Sharp Eyes is really helpful for that crit and the crit rate as well. But you're going to want Ethereal on there and Grandest Goddess's Blessing, because this is for burst. This is final damage increase. Once I get more slots, obviously I'll work on those. Decent Combat Orders is also very good for this class because you want to boost your passives as much as possible. So I think that covers the basics of how you're going to put things into the class. But now when we talk about mobbing, it is a breeze. My teleport rock expire? Is that what that was? No? Oh. There we go. Okay. So you're going to want to obviously place a totem if you have one. And now what you're going to do is make sure that you have your 2 toggles on. So Peerless Mountain and Dragon Vein Reading. And you're going to want to summon a fire on this side. And then you can summon either a fire or a wind on this side. So I'll place wind over here, fire over here. And this is your mobbing. You can also do a water summon as well if you want to have all 3 out. It's not necessary though, because in most maps, wind and fire are going to be enough to just full map wipe. And these summons last for about 16 seconds, so you're pretty fine with just having these 2 down. Once in a while, if you want to do a wake-up call when you see any of them near you, you can do that. It's just rinse and repeat. Super simple mobbing. Just constant screen wipes. So, makes it really easy. The big things that are important, though, that a lot of people aren't really picking up on yet, is the absorption trait. So, obviously we have like burst up here, Arbor Away and Lance Connection is a main part of your burst. And then Sprinkle's your main attack, and obviously like a teleport, wake up call. Dragon Vein Absorption, however, this will give you buffs depending on what you absorb. You can stack all 3 at once if you'd like, and they give basically additional attacks to your Essence Sprinkle. So there is 1 for water, 1 for wind, 1 for fire, obviously. And when you're bossing, you're going to want to absorb all 3. So I guess if we go into, we could just go into a Lotus really quick. Right before you go into a boss, you're going to want to absorb all 3. So you could either summon a vein and then pick your absorption, or you could just go and grab them. These buffs last for 1 minute, as we can see up top. And then the other thing you're going to want to do before you go in as well is grab the buffs from your 3rd job skills, which are the manifestations. You have Wind Swing and Sunlit Filled Ground. Wind Swing gives you attack speed +1, which is this. Then Sunlit Filled Ground gives you health regen when you're in it, but it also gives you a 2-minute 25% damage buff. So these are both 2-minute buffs. You could do absorptions again if you want before going in. And then once you enter, you're going to be using, you're just going to be using Sprinkle mainly as your bossing skill. Go in, obviously burst. And now an important thing for a fight like this is to have your teleports in comfortable positions so that you don't have to be doing this walk each time. That was rough. Because otherwise you are going to run into issues. So that means that if you want, you could place like a summon on the side, and then when the laser comes, you could teleport across it. Bossing so far on this class from first impressions, I think that it's going to require a lot of practice to get good at it. But I'm starting to pick up on it personally, and it's very strong. It's a lot of fun. The biggest thing is definitely just it is a pretty high skill cap. But you have a lot in your arsenal. Like the float's great. You can use this to avoid lasers. Up jump's also an awesome option if you're coming from a standard mage. And then of course a class bind is great too. Make sure that you're using your teleports when you're trying to like teleport around a boss. That'll just come in handy just in case. I'm not used to flash jump, unfortunately. I'm used to a full teleporting bossing class, but I guess everybody's got to learn how to boss on all types of characters. And I don't think I need to do P3, but it's kind of the same gist as this for the most part. That's going to be your bossing. From what I can gather so far, summons aren't very helpful for bossing. This might change in the future and this might age poorly, but I see way more out of the 3 absorption skills. So basically grab your 3, summon these before entry, and then if you need to summon them again in the fight, by all means. These are both buffs for the whole party too, Wind Swing and the Sunlit Filled Ground or whatever. So place these down before you burst and that should work. I think that's about it for Lara coverage. If you have any other questions, toss them in the comments. I'm sure I'll answer them. Thanks for watching.